Nolan Wells' parents receive a warning from the former Mississippi judge after the GPS data and the audio from the boat got released.
What? And remind y'all, the judge is the three young men out of one of the three young men. The judge is their mom of the town where Nolan Wells and his friend them grew up. You know, the judge been knowing him since he was a kid too. So, what? She sending threats to Nolan mom?
That's like everything else that have came out regarding Nolan Wells. Each and every detail just leaves us with more questions. And the GPS data and the audio from the boat is no different. The audio and GPS data created more questions for us than answered questions for us.
GS3 Media TV, and I'm back with another video. What's going on, chat? We got Poetic Flacco with another one on this Nolan Wells situation. Let's see what's going on, chat. GS3 Media. Oh no, it's GS3 the Don. I apologize. GS3 the Don, and you know what's going on. Like, comment, subscribe, and we're gonna keep good vibes, mud. And you know the slogan at the end of the day gotta end. Let's get into the content.
Nolan Wells' parents receive a warning from the former Mississippi judge after the GPS data and the audio from the boat got released. What?
And remind y'all, the judge is the three young men out of one of the three young men. The judge is their mom of the town where Nolan Wells and his friend them grew up. You know, the judge been knowing him since he was a kid too. So, what? She sending threats to Nolan mom?
That's like everything else that have came out regarding Nolan Wells. Each and every detail just leaves us with more questions. And the GPS data and the audio from the boat is no different. The audio and GPS data created more questions for us than answered questions for us.
We have some new information on the Nolan Wells case. CBS News got a hold of the boat GPS.
Whoa.
When I was putting together the timeline and piecing it together, there were two things that stuck out to
me. Whoa, we're gonna let her finish this, chat. They got the boat GPS.
One was there were several trips back and forth, and two, there was an hour and 13-minute time gap. And I'm going to talk to you about it. So first, at 9:56 a.m., the boat leaves the original dock. It arrives at Horn Island at 11:14. So at around 4 o'clock, there is a call to the Coast Guard about the boat. NBC News got a hold of it. Here's a quick snippet. This is the only little snippet I could find.
We're sinking. Can you all please count?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Everybody's on board. So does that mean Nolan?
Listen, I don't lack complete self-awareness. Maybe it's a product of us just being super hypercritical of everything because of the obvious and blatant lies that have already been told to us. But whenever something new comes out in this case, it's always something sketchy. It's always sus. It always creates more questions than answers. Now, them saying everybody is on board is not an admission that Nolan Wells was on board. They could have very well just been talking about whoever was on board. But still in all, again, it's just a pattern. Whenever...
That is true, chat. They could have just been talking about whoever was already on board. That don't mean Nolan was on there. That don't mean that.
Something new comes out is always something sketchy. Now, the next part, the GPS data, that is the one that created more questions than answers. Like, that's the one that a lot of people is hyper-focused on right now. Because the GPS data shows, so they left the island, they was on the northwest part of the island, they was trying to leave, their boat started to sink. Now, apparently they was offshore enough to where they couldn't just swim back, so they had to call for help. Now, the part of the island that they was sinking and needed help from is apparently the exact same side of the island where Nolan Wells' body was found.
Now, as you know, we've been following this story, and what we have now noticed is that the call looks to be made in the same area Nolan's body was found 2 days later on Monday. As local outlet WLOX stated, around 8:45 a.m., Sheriff Ledbetter confirmed authorities received a call reporting a body found at the northwestern tip of Horn Island. The body was discovered by a U.S. Park Service ranger. Now, this clearly now gives us a better understanding that when the friends allegedly last seen Nolan at 3 p.m., they would make a call about the boat taking in water and needing of a tow. GPS data graphics would again also confirm they were located on the northwestern tip of the island. Now at 4:31 p.m., they would eventually be towed for about 2.7 miles out before returning to normal operation and headed back to land. Now, after gathering all this information, it now seems for some that Nolan's incident, given that his body was found in the same area, had to have happened between the call at 3 p.m., when they stated to last seeing him, and when they would be towed away at 4:31 p.m.
With all the evidence now coming out and there's talks of a grand jury, people are getting excited that Nolan Wells is about to get justice. That Nolan Wells is finally about to get justice and people are going to be held responsible. But former Mississippi Judge Carlos Moore, he released a video where he says, hold on. And he sent a message to Nolan parents saying, yo, don't let these people trick you and fool you. It looks like they are trying to get Nolan justice. It looks like they're trying to do the right thing. But I've been fooled by these people in the past. This is just how they do it. They're going to find a way to undermine justice. Do not get fooled and tricked into thinking the DA is on your side. They're not. And I think this is a very important thing because this is a former judge within Mississippi. He's a current and practicing attorney. This is somebody who knows that system all too well. And he knows the very same people personally who's going to be prosecuting this if it does become criminal. And he's telling the parents, yo, heed this warning. These people are not your friends. They come across as super nice. They come across with a southern charm, but they ain't your friends and they are snakes.
So much has transpired. So we are now on day 11 since the disappearance of Nolan Wells. Day 11, and there has still been no arrest. To me, that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable because we know on day 1, had there been 3 young black men to return to the mainland from an island and 1 white young man left there who disappeared, who died under suspicious circumstances, we know within 1 day of beginning an investigation, with all the suspicious activity that we know that have occurred here, if it occurred in that situation, we know that there would have been arrest by now. So it's still unacceptable to me that no arrests at all have been made for any particular crime. And I've laid out a litany of potential crimes that members of law enforcement, if they were doing their jobs unbiasedly and thoroughly, could have made by now.
One of the theories that he laid out to me is a theory that should satisfy both sides. If you are somebody who believed that Nolan Wells drowned because he was drunk or he was drinking, or if you're on the other side, which is we believe that Nolan Wells was murdered or he was pushed off, but this was not no accidental thing. Well, his theory satisfies both sides. His theory says, okay, if you believe Nolan Wells drowned accidentally by himself and there's no foul play, then you should also be in favor of arresting the people who provide Nolan Wells that liquor. Nolan Wells was under 21 years old. So if somebody provided Nolan Wells that drink, that liquor, that beer, or whatever he was drinking that caused him to drown accidentally, then we should all be in favor of arresting that person, right? Why aren't you in favor of that? Because if somebody gives somebody drugs and they overdose, that person is going to jail for a very long time. So shouldn't that apply here, right? See, but it's not about, oh my God, no, it's never about the truth. It's only about how do the people that we like and love avoid and dodge accountability? Because if they were all for the truth, even if they believe that Nolan Wells accidentally drowned, then you should be pro going and arresting the people responsible for providing the liquor. Either way, arrest should be happening.
Because I don't play. School had recess. I do not play. I don't even play the radio. Those folks know me. They know me well. And if I say it, I mean it. And so I see today, not only that she had announced earlier this week that she was going to work with, or was working with the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, she met with the family and their counsel and gave them an update and told them that she will be presenting all of the evidence to a Jackson County grand jury. That is a step in the right direction. But is it a step in the right direction because we had to call her hand? Had she planned to do that all alone? I had the unfortunate experience of meeting the DA, McRath, back in 2019 when I was a partner with the Cochran firm. And Toussaint Diamond Sims was killed by a Morris Point Police Department officer on August the 8th, 2019. It was caught on video. There were several witnesses that said that young man had nothing in his hands when he was shot 5 times in the back by that Morris Point cop. 5 times in the back, nothing in his hands. DA McRath presented all that evidence, overwhelming evidence, and she still could not secure an indictment of that officer in Jackson County. So before everybody goes and starts singing her praises, let's make sure she's not going to do another sham presentation to the grand jury. And we know that you can present things to various grand juries until you get an indictment.
I found out by watching Carlos that when the DA said that they was bringing this case to the grand jury, that was apparently a sleight of hand because she was not electing to do it. This was not a choice. Apparently, this is just protocol. This is just this is what they are supposed to do. This is a requirement. If somebody dies and the cause of death is unknown, it goes to the grand jury automatically. You guys have to present the cause of death to the grand jury automatically. Hey, we think he drowned. Here's the evidence. So it's not presenting the case to the grand jury, it's what they present within the grand jury. If she's gonna come to the grand jury and say, yeah, he drowned, here's the evidence that he drowned, and then the grand jury says, okay, he drowned, there's really no criminal matter here, they're gonna come back and say, see, the grand jury said no, it's how you present to the grand jury. Like he said, she met with black leaders, she met with activists, and she sold them a dream of how she's about to be fair and impartial and present all the evidence to the grand jury. Man, she got to that grand jury and said, hey man, it's self-defense, right? So, what they're doing with the parents, they're hoodwinking the parents. They're running circles around them. And I love the fact that he's warning them now so they don't get disappointed. Because her bringing this to a grand jury was not her choice. This is a requirement. But a lot of us got fooled into thinking, oh my God, they're taking it seriously. No, they're not taking it seriously, bro. I don't think their goal is to get justice for no. Their goal is to make sure the public pressure is gone. The backlash is gone. They want to get over this as fast as possible.
It's mighty funny that the regular saying is you can indict a ham sandwich. With all that evidence, after someone was killed in 2019, and I happened to represent the family at that time as a partner in the Cochran firm, and I met with her as well as the family, similar to what happened today, so I've been through that process with her. She will offer you sweet tea. She's a nice, good Southern belle, but can she get you justice? We're not going to sleep on you, Angel, excuse me. We're not going to sleep on you. This time, we expect you to present the evidence in a manner like you present it in other situations that you can secure an indictment or indictments. I do know you don't have to be indicted for anything to be arrested. All of this evidence is out there now. It should have been presented to a judge by now. Some of it for probable cause to make some arrest. Some of it to get the search warrants. I am not about any dilatory tactics. You're not going to punt the ball and put it on the grand jury. Certain folks need to be arrested now. If there's so much evidence, I told you, I know these folks and I know how they operate. Don't let their kindness Don't let them kill you with kindness. We are going to keep our feet on their necks. We're going to keep our feet on their necks. We're going to keep applying pressure, because it's with pressure brings results. Pressure bursts pipes.
I 100% agree. I'm not looking forward to this grand jury at all, because I already understand what kind of trickery and mastery they're about to do. As simple as that, bro. Right? They're about to do a lot of trickery and mastery here. See, before I found out this information, I thought, oh my God, they finally taking it seriously. And they presented it to the family as if they were taking it seriously. But this grand jury is just simply a requirement. They're just simply going through the motions to get this done, to get it over with, right? To get us to stop talking about it and move on. As simple as that. That's their only concern. They don't care about Nolan Wells dying. They don't care. And their actions have proven it. They care about the backlash. They care about the uproar. They care about the national attention on his little town. And they want the national attention to go his way as soon as possible. But this is just sad, man. I'm glad he's warning the parents right now so they understand what they're getting themselves into. Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, man? If you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this video right here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here or here or here, where I break down how Fantano.
GS3 Media TV, like, comment, subscribe, and we're going to keep good vibes, mud. And you know the slogan. At the end of the day gotta end, mud.